Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Ghost Rider Vlog. So today's episode is going to be Spotlight number 8. We are getting pretty close to finishing up Ghost Rider's run on Spotlight. I think it's up to number 11. Let me double check that really quick here. Actually, it would be number 12. Good thing I checked. From issue 5 to 12, Ghost Rider would run on Spotlight. And actually, issue 12 was technically the first test issue of Son of Satan and introduced that character, but it also heavily featured Ghost Rider as a main character on it as well, before they decided to branch it off as its own series. So, looking at the cover for episode 8, the title of this particular comic seems to be The Witch Man Cometh. Obviously introducing a new character, most likely also a villain, by the looks of it. Because we got the Snake Man in the background, he seems to be of some sort of Native American descent. And we also see the Ghost Rider fighting off about 4 or 5 snakes. So, that's apparently a thing. This is kind of an area where I kind of understand why a lot of the movie franchises don't want to do normal Ghost Rider, because the first year or so is this kind of really weird stuff that, if done wrong, could come off with some negative racial commentary on things. I mean, honestly, it's a villain, and he's meant to be doing bad things, and he does generally do that, but you know, check your white privilege at the door kind of a deal. Anyway, so story for this particular one. We finally have the fight between Johnny and Crash Thompson, or Crash Simpson, rather. Blech. Keep wanting to call him Thompson for some reason. No, it's Crash Simpson and Johnny Blaze finally have their fight. But in the end, Crash can't kill Johnny because he is still not fully under Satan's thumb and wishes to see his daughter again. And at the same time, he doesn't feel the negative urges when he comes to senses as he did when he first felt that he needed to kill Johnny for his own sake, for his longevity. Not to mention, Johnny also talks some sense into him, the fact that Satan's obviously going to cheat him because look what happened to him. So, even though they're both sent to hell to fight, Crash turns about and saves Johnny from a nearby demon, and also sacrifices himself, killing yet another demon on their way out. We also meet some strange robed guy. I forget his name right now, but as far as I'm aware, he never comes back, to my knowledge, so, meh. But this robed figure, he allows Crash to finally rest in peace while also apparently sending Johnny back to Earth, to which both Johnny and Roxanne wake up in the basement where they had this whole ordeal, and Roxanne believes it's only a dream, and they decide to continue on with their normal excursions, taking the bike troupe out and doing some more stunts and stuff. To which they are planning to do a stunt on Copperhead Canyon, which is apparently a part or a section or something relatively near the Grand Canyon. Which then, of course, takes us out to the desert, which then proceeds to give us a Native American villain now for a while. This one is, I believe, Stormcloud is his name. Let me double check that, actually. Actually, not Stormcloud. Stormcloud is the name of the Native American that, once Johnny gets to the Grand Canyon, tries to push him out of the truck and then leave him behind to not be able to do the jump when he finally shows up, because most likely Johnny wouldn't die out in the desert, but by the time he would actually get to where the show is supposed to be happening, he'd be too tired to actually do the real jump. Is Stormcloud's idea, at least. However, again, because we're trying not to be racist, and we have to make decent reasons, essentially this strange medicine man named Snake Dance is the reason why the Native Americans are acting up in this area, and his whole weird shtick is the reason why they're trying to push anyone away from the canyon area, because they believe it to be their own land. And admittedly, they are trying to get it back from the government, but they believe that if Johnny does this jump, that they will never get their land back, because the government will want tighter hold on it, because they can use it to get more money, supposedly. Sounds like a lot of rubbish to me, but... anyway, because of this medicine man, that's why this particular group of people are acting up. It's not a commentary on Native Americans as a whole, it's just that this particular small section of Native Americans in this area are under this guy's sway. And that's essentially what's going on here. And obviously, because they're making so much trouble, Johnny decides to go off to Copperhead Canyon, and does so during dusk, because that means he'll have the powers of the Ghost Rider. He does do battle with Snake Dance, and actually manages to not only fort his minions with normal physical fighting, but also manages to beat a good half of his tricks. Essentially, he seems to be doing some sort of illusion, which makes Johnny believe that he is fighting with snakes, but he eventually overcomes them, but then Snake Dance himself somehow turns into a snake. Whether or not it's an illusion, we're not entirely sure, because it's such a powerful illusion that Johnny essentially finally panics, even as the Ghost Rider, and starts to take off. Also, while the bike was in the ranch area where they were setting up and looking over things, Stormcloud intervened again and messed with Johnny's bike. So as he's taking off and doing a huge jump over the canyon, the bike suddenly explodes underneath Johnny and sends him plummeting to Earth, and that's where our cliffhanger is for this episode. So, general feel about it. Again, it seems to be the same artists, other than a little bit of the wonkiness of the flame on the cover, which I notice happens from time to time. It's hard to draw fire, especially a fire that's supposed to be coming out of a person's head. But outside of that, the art is pretty good as usual. The story is finally moving along. We got past the whole Crash Simpson thing, and that's a car. We finally got past the whole Crash Simpson thing, so we are now moving on to a new villain who is probably going to be recurring for, I would guess, the next 2 to 3 books, at the very least. You don't want to keep popping out these characters and have them be only one issue only kind of deals, you know? You want to keep this going for a little bit and continue to test out how things are going and what should change and what shouldn't change in the book. Good cliffhanger. Thankfully, I get to read the next book pretty soon, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But it is a good place to suddenly make a cliffhanger. We finally got a decent introduction to our new villain and what some of his abilities are. And we also got to see some more action sequences, even more so than the last couple, actually, come to think of it. So, yeah, that's a pretty decent read. I would highly recommend it, and we're going to go on to the next one. So I'll see you at Spotlight number 9. See you all next time.